this is Shriyal and I am at the ACE Group Architects office. I have with me from his busy schedule architect Dinesh Verma. He is the principal architect and the founder of ACE Group Architects. Of course, I know he needs no introduction, but I have grabbed some of his busy time today to discuss the VIT Institute, his project in Chennai. VIT Institute, from the conversation I've had with him, very interesting, has been one of the most, I think, long gestation projects that his firm has been working on, 15 years plus, 125 acres, and they have been developing everything in Chennai around this project. What we're going to be discussing today is the auditorium that they had recently concluded over there. I think there are a lot of interesting aspects to this auditorium, from the fact that it's not used for any one purpose. It's also used for indoor sports, the convocation ceremonies and other curricular activities. And as Architect Verma just mentioned to me, it has a capacity of only 3,000 plus. So having said that, thank you for your time, Architect Verma, and it's a pleasure to be discussing this project with you today, and very excited and interested to understand art and design through you.
Hi, thanks a lot here for the introduction. And well, VIT has been one of the, I would say, the biggest projects which my firm has handled, and 15 years is not a small time to be with a particular project, maintain the enthusiasm, keep on rolling newer and newer ideas, and satisfying the client again and again and again for different buildings. And one of the projects which came to us was this auditorium, as what has been talking to you about, but we framed a new name. We said, since it is so multifarious, since there is gymnasium, there is sports, there is theatre, seminars, everything, so we call it a gymnatorium instead of auditorium. And that's a word coined by us to sort of explain to people as to this is not just an auditorium. And that's the theme of the entire facade and all, also what we did to it.
Interesting, very interesting. Yes, so I think we've just begun this conversation and there are interesting elements coming through. Gymnatorium is very innovative, especially in the age of hashtags. I think it works really well. So having said that, I'll go to the first question with our gymnatorium now that I have with me. What was the initial brief from the client and how did it guide the design process for you?
Well, the client wanted auditorium, something which is large enough so that they can have their convocations, and also every year they conduct these I would say entrance exams where thousands and thousands and thousands of people come all the way to give the exam. But it was just that fine, we'll do it something which is as big as what is possible, and we went on. This is the first time when it has happened to me where we designed something, we took it to the client, we explained to them the entire ideas, the acoustics, the viewing angles and everything, and we came back satisfied that yes, the client has accepted it. But on review within the office, we were not satisfied. So we redid the entire project, changed the viewing angles, changed the acoustics, and went back to the client, who was absolutely surprised. He said it's the first time when an architect comes back to me and says that he himself is not satisfied with his drawings and his concept. And of course, the second concept which we took was totally approved in one shot. So this is how we all started out with, and we wanted this place to be a hustle and bustle type of a place where students will be coming in, going out throughout the day, not an enclosed auditorium which will be used only twice or thrice a month. So we incorporated as many things as possible. We had rehearsal rooms for drama, theatre, we had debating areas, we had places where students can come and play, use this place for basketball, use the place for TT, and a number of things which were there. So since it was such a multifarious type of activity space, when it came to the facade part of it, we thought we should sort of put something like that on the facade also. Not just blank large spaces which are there, but come out with something which can be sort of combined together and form a big, I would say, something like a frescoes. And that's how it all came. We started working on hexagons, And hexagons are very easy to sort of put together. It's like, what the honeybees and also do it.
Yes.
So if you look at it, it looks like a honeycomb, like a honeybee with a couple of trickles on the sides. And we work this out in different ways so that the overall composition looks very attractive. And we went ahead to choose something which, because we have done the entire campus. So we had that in mind, find what are the type of colors which were used there previously, how will this gel with the other buildings which are there. All this was done, and then the facade elements and all were chosen, and it came out too.
Nice, an interesting story here. So I think the hexagon idea and the whole concept behind that is very interesting. My next question to you, where did you source this facade from? Who has supplied it to you? Because I can see it's innovation at its peak, but I think it's always success comes with the designer's thought and the product you source as well. So who has supplied the facade to you?
See, the supply is just one, and I would say the easiest part of the entire thing.
Yes.
What is very interesting in any of these projects which we do is how that particular material is used. How does it take the final form from that plain sheet which is available as. So we chose Fundermax as one of the materials, or rather the material in this case as far as the facade is concerned. We had a lot of options of colors. We gave the client different color combinations, in combinations of one color, second color, X, Y, Z, three together. And we were not really happy with just the finishes which were there. So we thought we'll work further on that. And we got the grey color perforated all over to give it that little bit of an extra depth which is required. The depth was still not coming because Fundermax as a material is only 6 mm or 8 mm. So we had to work on it further and then give it a further depth by putting Fundermax material on the sides too.
Interesting.
So that's how each module of that hexagon was standardized. Even the riveting and all which was required, that was standardized, that at every frame the rivets would be at so and so place. And then the combination was done to give the entire facade this particular look.
I also seen from the images that you've showed me that there is a triple combination used in this whole facade design. I can see a play of 3 colors also here. So if you can talk a little more about this, and how did this choice of triple combination kind of influence your or inspire your design or have synergies with your whole design that you had?
Well, the entire campus, which has just 2 or 3 colors, they are all warm colors. They are like brick and white and little bit of grey. That's the type of campus, because when I am designing a campus, I am very clear that all the buildings which are there in the campus which are designed by me should look like one family. They should all look like brothers and sisters who are in tandem, who are together and not fighting with each other. Because most of the campuses where you go, it looks like each building is competing with the other one. All the buildings in this particular campus are having a very similar color combination. So it's the brick, the white and a little bit of grey. And all buildings are like that. So when we were choosing the colors for this gymnatorium, we wanted it not to be the same, but to be in the same warm spectrum of the colors. And that's how we went ahead and chose the grey and the 2 wooden colors, which were, one was slightly lighter than the other, to make this entire combination. And all this would again be with a huge mass of white which would be textured. So this is how the entire concept of the colors came in. And today when you look at it, it all gels so well with the greenery and the other buildings in the entire campus. The clients are so happy and thrilled about it, and they have been very happy with the way it is planned and how they are using it. They never thought that an auditorium will be used every day in the campus.
Right. Can you tell us a little more about how you've ensured, precision and the detailing in your designing with the whole Rivet application technique? So, especially designing, I can see a lot of consistency in the design. So, ensuring precision and design consistency with the Rivet application. If you can just elaborate on that.
Well, that is where detailed engineering gets into the picture. When we work with any fabricator or Fundermax or anyone, we are very clear that we are giving you a concept, and we do not go ahead till we have a detailed drawing which is a detailed mechanical drawing done by the people who are going to actually fabricate it. And that is the technical expertise of people who are linked with Fundermax. See, Fundermax will supply you the sheets, but not the other material which is going inside. And that has to be sourced by the people who are actually fixing it there. And that is the expertise which we always bank on. So here we made those, we got those drawings made, checked it. We have to sort of see whether the hexagons, when they are put together, they occupy from left end of the building to the right end, and they are not cut in between.
Yes.
So that type of detailing had to be done with the projections on all the sides, so that when you have such a huge mass, you see that all these hexagons are projected out rather than they looking flat on the surface. So the detail engineering was very, very important part of it, and till that was made, samples were done, combinations of 2 or 3 were made physically to see as to how they fit each other, and once that was approved, then the entire scheme went ahead with the Fundermax.
Nice. Okay, especially when we talk about educational institutions, we see durability and ease of maintenance becomes a very important factor here, coupled with hygiene factors also. So how does that influence your choice of material, and how did Fundermax give you that requirement through their offerings?
Well, when it comes to an institution, this is something very, very, very important, and today institutions are not ground plus 1 or ground plus 2, they are all tall buildings. In VIT Chennai, the hostels are 18 and 20 floors. So, we are looking at materials which will last and last. And here too also, when we are choosing the material, we chose Fundermax over its competitors more because we have seen the durability of their material over a period of time. It is not the first time I have used this particular material. I have been using Fundermax for the past almost maybe a decade or so. My work with Fundermax may not be large in terms of the quantities, but when it comes to the design capability and how differently it is used, that is where we stand out much more than others who just use Fundermax as large panels and put them together.
So in fact, that actually it goes into my next question also, that today we see a market, we are spoiled for choice. You have a lot of options when it comes to selecting your facade material, your cladding material, but how do you see Fundermax making a unique space for itself in this busy market which is having a lot of choices, and in what way does it complement your design and your plannings for projects?
Well, we are now about 40 plus years old as an office, and over a period of time we have used different materials. Now, we have had the experience as to what happens to a particular material after 5 years, 10 years, because we have seen it happening. And most of the materials available in the market are not so UV resistant. They do fade, they do change colors, and some of them even start weeping. You will see a lot of white calcination and things which are coming out. Here in Fundermax, I have noticed that the way they treat their material is very, very different. There is a gap between the building and this, so there is a breather space in between the building and the main Fundermax panels. The entire detailing which is done is such that you avoid all these problems, and the entire material is UV resistant. So with that guarantee of Fundermax, the brightness of the color, the combinations, how the color, the sheet itself is having 2 or 3 different remains for a very, very long time. And this is what we convince the client to go ahead with rather than the other materials which are there.
Interesting. If we talk about sustainability today, we see sustainability playing an integral role not only in design but even on the client end. I think it comes as part of the brief, and the VIT project especially is a certified project when it comes to its green features and sustainability. So again, how does Fundermax complement this green ethos and vision of not only the project but ACE Group as an architectural firm as well?
A very, very pertinent question. See, VIT Chennai is a gold rated IGBC project as what you just mentioned. Now when we are going for the, this building has come after the gold rating has been given. So it becomes more important for us to choose materials which are, sustainable, which are there, and Fundermax is one of those materials where we are not spoiling any natural resource or anything. It's made out of paper, and then it has layers and layers of compact papers what it is made up of. So it does fall into the same line, and the clients are also happy that we are able to maintain the gold rating of the IGBC certification because of this particular material.
What was the reaction from a client? Like, considering that you were building, you were designing their buildings and everything, and suddenly you come to something like an auditorium and this is what they see as a finished product from the outside. What was that reaction? If you can just share it with us. I mean, I'm sure you've been first-hand witness to it, but we would love to know from you the client reaction, user reaction when they saw this project from outside in the first look.
Well, the first look was when we gave them the 3Ds as to how they will see, because that's the time when they'll see the entire project at one time.
Yes.
But even when the project was going on and they saw some part of it done, the expression was wow. They were really very thrilled about it, and it is something which is very, very different. If you look at it as an auditorium from which any other place, you would not see something which is used in such modules. Fundermax as on days is giving you large sheets. Any other designer would have taken those large sheets and make them look larger and put them as huge panels.
Right.
We are the only people who cut them into smaller pieces and then join them together, which itself is I would say something very, very different. And the overall picture today, the moment you come, there are all types of big dignitaries, ministers, so many people have come there, and everybody has liked this facade very much. It is different, it is likable, it is not loud, it merges with the institutional qualities of the thing, part of the campus, and the clients are definitely very, very happy.
I'm sure this is not your only project where you have used Fundermax's products. So if you can talk a little about the flexibility that their product brings across, like somewhere you would want to use a flat rectangle panel, somewhere you would want to cut it like an hexagon. So that is also, I think, something you would look at when you are sourcing a material in terms of flexibility and giving it the shape. So if you can elaborate on that experience with Fundermax, that how they fit into different type of projects, giving the desired look with their products.
Well, see, one good thing about this material is it's available in different colors. So yeah, they have a large range of colors, they have a large range of textures, they have a large range of, I would say, naturally copied material like stone, wood and things like that. A common man outside doesn't come to know that this is not real wood. They feel it is the real wood. Or if you put the stone will look alike, it looks like stone. So they have a huge range. But what we are working on at present is something very, very different. And we have had a couple of discussions with Fundermax on this particular project, where we are putting Fundermax like, I would say, something like a V. And the V keeps on, like we are sort of copy pasting V, so many.
Right.
The idea being that when people walk from this side, they will see a particular color and a pattern.
And when they come
from the other side, they'll see something else. So it will be something where a building will be dynamic in terms of nature when people walk up and down.
Yes.
Right? But actually it is static. Normally people will use technology for something like that. They'll put lighting, they'll put something and another, all the new things. But we thought let us work on some material, and that's what the office at present is working on. That how we can make a building dynamic, though it is absolutely static, and we are trying to use Fundermax for that as a different type of material.
Wow. I don't know if this relates here, but it's also like how we as human beings have different perspectives.
Yes.
So it's like looking at design, everyone would interpret it differently.
Absolutely.
And from where you stand, you have a different story to say.
Yes. And the ideas which come, they are from very simple, and as small kids, I don't know, you would remember, we had something like a small, when you twist it slightly this way and this way, the image will keep on moving up and down, up and down.
Yes. And we kids get very intrigued by that. We would just keep doing this.
This concept has come from that small toy which I used to play with when I was a kid.
Wow. Very interesting.
So that's how, things move out. So when people ask me how do you get an idea, I'll never be able to sort of give them an answer.
Of course.
It just moves and moves in my mind.
Yes. I'll come to my concluding question with this, which you can take straight to this camera.
Yeah.
But if you have to define your relationship with Fundermax, or the relationship that has been built over the years with Fundermax in one word or a sentence, what would it be?
Well, I would say that a couple of words which definitely suit a company like Fundermax. One is reliability, which is very, very important. Second, I would say that what they say is what they mean. Unlike other companies where the two words don't actually say the same.
Yeah.
And third thing which I have been very happy about them is the timelines. If they promise that a particular thing will be done in 6 weeks or whatever time, it is done in that. And that's what makes me very happy and feel like working with Fundermax again and again.
Thank you so much for your time, Architect Dinesh. I think it was an absolute pleasure
Thank you.
understanding your thought. I think there's so much energy you bring onto the conversation, which I'm sure even reflects in the work you and your team do together. Congratulations on that, and thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, and thank you to the entire team. It was wonderful to be with you people today.
Thank you.